But I want to start with you again.
Yes.
You were once a rebel from the system. Yeah. How does it feel to be a rebel?
Well, as long as...
I know it's a personal question.
Yeah, you know, I think that time when you are young, you are full of energy. And if that energy is not properly directed, you become a rebel, not by choice, but by default. Because when certain issues are not addressed, and those are issues affecting your constituents, you definitely have to be a rebel. And that is the situation that I was for over 15 years as a member of parliament before I joined government. But more important is this issue of saying let us not wash dirty linen in public is a product of reluctant Democrats across the board, be it in government or in the opposition. Because if you are washing your dirty linen in the house and somebody sends you out of the house with the dirty linen,
you have to go and wash it out.
Yeah, you wash it out there. And this is something that is very important. And there is also something fundamental. When a member of parliament is elected under the sponsorship of a certain party, he is not a prisoner of that party. He is a member of parliament representing a certain unique constituency of people whose interests are not necessarily mirrored by the interests of the party. But many party leaders, they assume that members of parliament are there for them to do the bidding for them, instead of looking at them as leaders on their own right.
But we are seeing the similar situation in your own party, ANC.
Well, ANC...
People with independent minds was perceived as being against the party leader.
But of course, that's an issue that I cannot discuss on the media. But what is important is that we have a NEC meeting tomorrow. We'll be able to iron out some of those issues. But at the same time, even if you disagree with the party leader, you don't have to go public about it. There are so many channels that you can discuss and iron out some of those challenges. But when I look at it overall, this is a very interesting phase of democracy. Let us disagree, but at the end of the day, our disagreements should not be a source of conflict. Let it be a source of unification, not in terms of the party, but also building systems that are democratic enough.
Mheshimiwa, you've thrown me off, I must admit. At the beginning you said, when the party does not, when somebody sends you out with dirty linen, yes, and you need to wash it, you have to go and wash it out there.
Outside, yeah.
Now you're telling me, when you disagree with party leadership, yes, you don't have to go and make noise out.
No. Because if the channels, that's why I'm saying democracy is a process. It's not just an event.
Not an event.
It's a process, and some of these exchanges are very useful. It depends on how you resolve them, because invariably all over the world there is always conflict, even at the family level.
And there's positive conflict, one thing most people
positive
don't know.
ones. It is how you handle the elements of that conflict that will determine how you come out strong or you come out weak.
Richard is burning to comment on this. Before I come to you, Richard, Charles, your take, this comment. Deputy President William Ruto fights back as rebellion mounts in his backyard, and he tells, cautions the leaders from the region, please do not wash our dirty linen in the public. He's actually soliciting help from locals to deal with these errant leaders distracting him.
That's an interesting observation. I don't want to take it as the position of the Deputy President, but in understanding our politics, the challenge that we have, not just as a Rift Valley problem, but as a Kenyan problem, is the conflict between pluralist politics versus this idea that I can be independent-minded. There is this tendency or feeling that since tribe is our first identity, especially politically, if you disagree with the leader, then you are going against the larger grain of the community, which is the bigger problem. But for the issue of the Rift Valley, I think historically, even since independence, post-independence, we've had leaders who have held alternative opinion, and I do not see that as a problem in terms of rebellion. It is just having crops of leaders who think differently. The problem is how this message is packaged and given out to the rest of the country. And the context is that now Deputy President William Ruto invariably finds himself on the spotlight because he is now positioning himself for 2022. So there is the dynamic in the Rift Valley that there could be different centers of power and everything, and then it's blown out of proportion. But I think from my perspective, this is something that is just getting a life that is bigger than itself, because at the end of the day, when we want to interrogate why are you even discussing the matter, it's because of the issue of 2022. But specifically for now, the context of the issue is the issues affecting Honorable Alfred Keter. And this is actually, I don't want to look at it as a political issue. It is something like a criminal justice issue.
No.
Well, it's either it's political.
Okay, I'll come to you, Dan.
My idea is, if today you are taken to, if today even you break a traffic rule and you're taken to court, it will definitely become political, that you are being maybe, I'm saying that. But the issue is, it is a matter of perception. If the systems and the implementing authorities are able to communicate to Kenyans and tell Kenyans exactly what is happening, then we may be able to get more information. But as at now, I think we are looking at the deputy president through a prism of there is a way he's being looked at, and issues that should necessarily
passed through the fire.
It's
to
being
see if he can bend or remain straight.
It's being chastised. But
Dan, is the deputy president feeling threatened by alternative voices from the Rift Valley?
Yes, I think so. And,
not this, and I quote, "Some of you should assist in cautioning and advising those currently disgruntled whenever I'm busy with national development," end of quote.
First of all, William Ruto is a man under siege. First of all, by his own people and also by the Kenyan politics. The issue of the so-called rebellious MPs, first of all, they are elected genuinely on the floor of the House. And what is happening is that the political parties, and especially Jubilee, wants to use force. You saw the president say that whoever did not attend
the PG
must be dealt with, and it is mandatory to attend the PG. Yes, when they attended the PG, they were dressed down like school children. And what is happening?
Oh, you attended?
No, I got information.
So you have spies in Jubilee?
They were dressed down like children. And it went back to what happened to Keter before, and Keter was threatened. And after threat, while Keter is following a matter which I'm very sure, because I've talked to experts, and there is no way there can never be a fake treasury bill, even a forged one.
Dating back to 1997.
It's not possible. You cannot have a fake one because it has a track, it has a documentation.
The records are there.
The records are there. So Central Bank must tell us where they are robbing this person. And when Honorable Keter is helping, and first of all they wanted a petition done to Parliament. Then Keter advised, no, let's find out. You can see he's trapped and he's locked up, and there is no reason to lock up a member of Parliament for 3 days. He's not a flight risk. He cannot disappear. They're just torturing him politically so that you can control his mind and that sort of thing. And political parties should free people so that they can think independently. This idea of squeezing them so that you look like you have organized your region and everybody has complied is totally wrong. There is no better expert of agriculture in Parliament than the Honorable Tiren, who was removed and is a second termer, and that seat is given to a fresh person.
But every region needs a chance. That was their argument.
Well, there are many other ways you would have balanced. Even when a region needs a chance, you need to give that opportunity to an expert. And especially a second termer, there's no way a first person in Parliament will sufficiently chair a committee of seniors. I mean, so this idea of enforcing
I didn't know there is bullying in Parliament.
In fact, Parliament has become a rubber stamp through the Jubilee Party. Whatever is dictated from State House is what happens in Parliament. So there is no Parliament anymore. It is just a rubber stamp. Actually, the whole power of Parliament is with the executive.
But that is what democracy is about.
No.
Majority have their
separation of powers. Separation of powers.
Okay, Dan. Richard, you have been in a situation similar to Alfred Keter's.
Yes.
You have been in a situation of going against the grain.
That is true. I wanted to tell you that for me, What is happening to Alfred Keter is purely political. I get dumbfounded when I see many of the commentators on TV saying this is a legal matter and therefore let's look at it legally. Yes, a legal matter maybe by 10 or 20%, if it is, because like my brother Maanzo has just stated, there are certain facts which you look at. But the truth is, what is the chronology of the events which have taken place about Alfred Keter vis-a-vis the Jubilee government and what the Jubilee government has been trying to do? The fact is, Keter wanted to become a chairman of the Labour Committee. And a team of a few members from the Rift Valley, even when the Jubilee Party was saying, oh, we want this to be done because there has to be geographical distribution of this position to accommodate everybody else. But you cannot do some of those things by sacrificing meritocracy over the table of expediency, political expediency, and this is what has happened. Number two, there's a statement that Alfred Keter made about 3-4 days before he was arrested in the Rift Valley, and he was saying where we are actually shifting to, even over the period of time that we have always said that Moi was a dictator, and in fact the way President Moi was ruling this country with an iron fist, and President Moi is a man who we all despised and looked at. The young man was saying the truth and the reality is that Uhuru Kenyatta is actually becoming worse than President Moi. In fact, we are going to the same old books. We are looking at issues which needed to be dealt differently, and we are handling these issues with an iron fist. The President, Uhuru, and his deputy are victimizing certain individuals who may disagree with them. And the truth is, like Honorable Kirwa said, the young man is energetic. He believes in what he stands for. And sometimes political parties need to give its members space so that somebody can articulate a position even when the party may not agree with.
You don't have to be yes men.
No, we don't have to be. I mean, if you look at Parliament right now, our Parliament is becoming emasculated. Our Parliament is just becoming musical chairs. Our Parliament has become an institution where we can't have intelligible debates. I mean, our Parliament is a place where a leader of the minority and his deputy are arrested within the parliamentary precincts. Their vehicles are taken away, their security is taken away, and you have individuals being run around. The security network is being used where people are being traced and being... We can't take Kenya back to that position.
So our parliament
we must allow the Alfred Keters of this world to come out and vent, to come out and say what they actually believe in, even when that may be something that the deputy president may disagree with. The truth is, if you look at before the elections, there were issues which Honorable Sudi, Honorable Alfred Keter,
yes,
Governor Manda, they raised critical issues, and I wanted to give, I actually gave the deputy president a lot of credit for having handled that matter very successfully internally until the elections were over. But now, to take the young man, arrest him in the streets, and then conveniently you have these guys from the central bank who are saying, oh, this guy, we found him with fake treasury bills. And in fact, when the guy is asked, can I make a comment, even as this man from the central bank is talking about those treasury bills, Alfred Keter is standing there and he says, can I say something? And he's told, no, you can't say something. He is arrested on Friday, conveniently, to make sure that he sleeps in the cells on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah. I mean, this country cannot go back to where we used to be. Yeah. And it is the responsibility of President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy to make sure that, just the way Kutuni said, if you don't have a country that believes in the rule of law, then you've lost it. Then you have no state. Then you have nobody. Then you are bringing in anarchy. Then I'm going to take any court orders that the courts are going to issue, and I will trash them and say this is just a piece of paper.
You seem to think along the same lines with the Deputy President William Ruto, and I quote, public servants, senators, governors, and all leaders must submit to the Constitution. A country is governed by the rule of law, not men.
But he didn't finish with the last comment. Conveniently.
convenient.
I like the convenience.
Yes, it's ironical.
Gentlemen, we'll be coming back.
It's the one who has been following the law. Let it follow the law.
Okay, let's hear from
Let it follow the law by example.
Okay. Order, gentlemen. Order, gentlemen.
It can't be selective.
Order, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the buck stops with the deputy president when it comes to Rift Valley politics.
You know, it's very funny, Kirwa, so that I don't distract you. These people are not able to speak in parliament, so they're coming to make noise here.
So I think if there is a lesson that deputy president needs to learn is how President Moi handled Rift Valley politics. Even when we disagreed with him publicly, from time to time he had time to call us as members of parliament. We talk, we disagree, then go out having agreed on a common position. That is what he needs to do. He does not need to lambast any leader. He should realize that he's just one among equals. There is nothing so special about him that he thinks that he's now been conferred a high pedestal that he can read a riot act to other members of parliament. Now, what is important is the way they have been handling Alfred Keter. You see, even to uncover a member of parliament, how can he run? Can he outrun a policeman? There is always a way you can handle members of parliament in a way that you don't show them under a lot of humiliation. Because if you saw the clips...
All human beings need dignity.
Yeah.
You're only supposed to be uncuffed.
Yeah, if you are dangerous.
Yes.
If you are likely to flee, or even you are dangerous even to the arresting officer. But the way he has been handled actually is a sign of impunity on the part of the executive.
Fair enough, gentlemen. We'll be coming back, and when we come back to look at what's making headlines in the papers, we move from Jubilee and Deputy President William Ruto to NASA. No end to NASA party wrangles over position. And we'll also be looking at comments by one self-declared General Miguna, having a start with David Ndie and Norman Magaya. Is the NASA coalition facing challenges when we come back?